Well, hey y'all. Hey Electra. Hey Jaconda. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday. Is it Saturday? Yeah. This Saturday night. I know y'all could be anywhere else, but you're here with me. And I thank you so much for being here. I want to wish you and Jaconda both. Hey Christine. I want to thank all of you a belated happy Valentine's Day. I hope you had a great one. Uh, And if you did receive anything from anybody, I hope you loved on yourself, that you were good to yourself, that you treated yourself, because, self love is so very important. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you've had a great week. And yeah, I had to come on, Hunty, because we had a whole lot going on this week up in the politics, as my Japanese friends say. But first, I do want to acknowledge the shooting. Well, first, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning the Super Bowl, and you know, just asking comfort and strength and love for the families that got caught up in the shooting. It was a great celebration for Kansas City, only to be just destroyed by two juveniles going out and shooting in the crowd. You know, I know that the NRA is paying people to keep their weapons, because there's Second Amendment rights. But I think within the Second Amendment, it also speaks about a well regulated militia, and no matter what, nobody needs to have an assault weapon. Um, I forget who told me, but a friend of mine mentioned that I think in Missouri, it is legal for a parent to buy their child as young as 8 years old an assault weapon if they want one. Now you know that's the dumbest shit. That is so dumb, so stupid. What is an 8 year old going to do with an assault weapon? You know, you mean better pray you don't turn it on your ass, okay? I just don't understand why these people are willing to sacrifice lives because they want money. Oh, but wait till it happens to one of their family members. Then maybe something will change. I doubt it because they're just that greedy and stupid. Um, and also to acknowledge the death of Alexei Navalny, to me, who was a very brave man to return to Russia after he had been poisoned. He was, as we all know, an opponent of that madman. Hogarth calls him Puchinsky. Um, and of course, they sent this man to a gulag somewhere where they probably beat him and didn't feed him, and that he probably had medical, whatever it was. To me, it was a purposeful act. And have you noticed that the clan house is on vacation, and I don't know that any of them have spoken about this tragedy. So we really want to remember those that are grieving the death of a loved one, no matter, and especially in these heinous ass shootings. We want to think of them in our prayers and ask the Creator to surround them in love and strength, and to give them comfort and in time peace. I uh, I I just I'm just fed up with it, quite frankly. I'm really just fed up with it. I want to thank uh, Jaconda, Margaret. Uh, Look, love Margaret. I don't even have a ring light. I'm in a space where I can actually have some privacy to do this, and I know it's dark. I don't know what I can do about it. You just have to struggle with me, girl, till I can get me a ring light. I also want to thank Terry for coming, um, um, and Christine for showing up. Um, yeah, girl, yeah, and Terry, yeah, we're gonna jump right into it right now. Now, I don't know uh, how many of you watched the hearings. I watched both days of the hearings, and all I got to say is it ain't nice to piss off a sister now. See, now we know that this is a hearing filed by Mike Roman's attorney, that what her name, Merchant Karen. We're gonna call her Attorney Karen. She filed she for to disqualify Fani Willis without any evidence, real evidence, for inappropriate behavior or breaking some kind of rule about um, being in a relationship with a colleague. Now, I would have preferred that she had poured her own dirt, but be that as it may, we know that this is just being done in the hopes that they can get her disqualified from the case. Like somehow that's going to stop the case from going forward. It won't. And we're all going to send some positive vibes and some thank yous to Fani for her hard work. Uh, we're going to continue to think of her also in our prayers, that she continues to be strong, and that fighting black girl fire, fight warrior stay in her, because baby, she ate, chewed up, and spat out about 5 attorneys, I think, and she really did chew up Miss Karen Merchant. We gonna call her Karen, honey. No offense to other Karens, but mm. so so they filed this. This was a hearing on a motion that Merchant filed on behalf of Roman, and of course, everybody else who was involved in the RICO case had their attorneys there. I think Jeffrey Clark, a criminal defendant, adjudicated rapist, and Fulton County inmate P01135809 had a rep there. They all joined into this situation, um, again in hopes of having Fani DA Willis kicked off, just kicked off the case. Well, it didn't quite work. Now they had an ex-friend of Fani's, or someone that she was friendly with in college, last name Yerte, I think, who was just an angry bitch. She was angry because when she was working in the DA's office, mother probably wasn't performing well. She wasn't doing a good job. So she was given the opportunity to either resign or be fired. So she chose to resign. And somehow, for her, that, all of that is Fani's fault, And so she lied and said that that Fani and Special Prosecutor Wade had been dating since 2019, which wasn't true. So we begin by them, she came out, baby, she came out. Mother, you could hear her. Let me tell you something. She came in like a heat-seeking missile, baby. You could feel her anger. I could feel it through the freaking video. She was as hot as a firecracker. So the first question that was asked was, why are you here? So she had to tell Karen Merchant that, she knew she was going to be called to testify. So it made sense. And she had been pacing back and forth in her office, I guess, and doing her other work and listening, and decided that she was going to go in. And as she went in, she had people within her division and within her office there to defend her. Now, this is merely a hearing. Now, first of all, I want to say I'm disappointed that Judge McAfee even had a hearing on this. I don't know if this is because he's inexperienced, he's a young cat. I don't know what it is, or he thought maybe he had to entertain it so as not to look biased or whatever. But when Fani filed her motion to not to dismiss, having to testify or have a subpoena served, she also called out the names of those on the prosecuting side who were having affairs, or who were married to others and working on the same cases. Okay. So we had two schools it felt like it was being, she was being intentionally called out. And I'm going to say that it is because she's a Black woman in Fulton County, Georgia, who had the nerve to bring this RICO case. Okay, we're going to start there because the Klan hoods were showing. Okay, so Miss Yurti came on. She didn't show up. She was by Zoom because I guess she might not have wanted to have to face Fani in person, lest she burn a hole through her ass. She testified that they had been seeing each other since 2019. Willis said that that is an absolute lie, and baby, she called out. She brought those documents that had been signed and called up Karen Merchant about the lies that she told within her papers. I mean, and she was fierce about calling it out. Okay. Um, so they had, like they always do, like Comer Powell or Comer, what are you calling him? Comer Powell, James Comer, always talking about these vetted and credible witnesses, one of whom that they've had come in to testify against the quote Biden crime family, end quote, has been arrested by the FBI for lying. He was a Russian oligarch, and one of the other guys I think was um, a spy for the Chinese or somebody. Yeah, real credible. So they're gonna dig deep to find credible witnesses. I think it all began when Roman approached Wade's wife, who hadn't lived in Georgia for 2 years. I believe she was in Texas. She's his ex-wife. They were divorced, claiming that the marriage was irretrievably broken because she had slept with his best friend. Now that'll break some shit up, you know. So they first got in touch with her, and the first hearing about that, the judge had to say that you haven't even called special counsel Wade to testify. It was about money. It was about the divorce, and the whole thing is connected to money because they're trying to say that somehow Fani benefited from monies because she was with Wade. Okay, so let's just do a little digging around. Um, Fani said that she met Wade at a some kind of meeting or some kind of what do you call it? Well, some kind of seminar or something. That was when she met. That she had actually gone out and out of the seminar and was speaking to someone else, and that he came up and introduced himself and gave her his card. And she didn't think she gave him hers, but he gave him he gave her his card. And so at that point they were friends, not even at that point they were not friends. But as this case began, Fani called him in as a special counselor because he has stellar credentials, and he does work as a special counselor and all over the state of Georgia. That he was a judge at one time. He's got impeccable credentials, and in fact, Karen Merchant, the attorney who filed a motion for Roman, was out campaigning for him and speaking very highly of him until now. Fani said that that they became friends. Now it was during the time, it was probably around COVID, that she was saying that he was going through a difficult situation because he had testicular cancer. Um, and she was kind of hesitant to put his business out there because she also leaned in and let them know she wasn't going to emasculate a black man. And when it shook Karen Merchant up, she got shaken, baby, and asked her what does that mean? And Fani leaned in and said she was not going to emasculate a black man. Apparently, she said they began dating in 2022, I want to say. And that, it started out as a friendship. He was going through a hard time. She had to leave her home where she and her father and her children would come, because they're adults that would come from time to time to stay. She had to leave her home because she had these cases going on against hip hop artists and or rappers, and this case had been filed, and so she was getting death threats, and it wasn't safe. I mean, even in day two, which we'll talk about, when her father came in, he said that they were painting uh, uh, had painted nigger bitch all over her house and stuff, and he had to go out and clean it up because he didn't want her to see that, and that he actually stayed in the house because we'll talk about her father's credentials. He is badass, okay? Um, he said that he stayed there, so he wasn't easily frightened. He stayed in the home until he began working on a project um, in LA. Now, so I would think during that time she was lonely. She couldn't live in the house where she'd been living and paying the mortgage. She had to move out. And as that at the time that she moved out, she had I don't know if Yerke contacted her. She contacted the ex-girlfriend who wanted to leave her condominium because she had married a man, and she didn't want to have to break a lease. And so Fani, needing a place to stay, went there. Now, what they're trying to say is that relationship began before 2022, and that they're also saying that they're trying to make it salacious by wanting to know when they started being intimate. Now, if a dude's got testicular cancer, I doubt that his junk is working. Okay, so I would bet dollars of donuts there was no intimacy. They were friends. They were both going. She was lonely. They were both going through a tough time. And I'm gonna tell you something. I worked in law firms, and it is nothing unusual for a bunch of people to be having relationships with each other, especially those working on the same cases. It's not unusual. It has happened at every law firm I've ever worked at. Um, at some point, she says they had their relationship broke up in 2023. They had a very difficult conversation. Now, there is a great YouTuber named DDM, Dapper Dan Midas, Secretary of Shade, who gives a very amusing and very urban uh, take on this situation. So if you have an opportunity to go over, you can go to YouTube and plug in Secretary of Shade and hear his latest video. It is factual and hysterical. It's funny. Now he surmises, and first, all of this is for entertainment purposes only. All of this is alleged stuff. I don't know anything personally about it. Um, but he surmises that when he started to get back in the groove, when his stuff was working again, that uh, Dapper Dan Midas suspects that she found out that he was a chauvinist and and one of those manly men, and I think he says that he made a comment that the only thing a woman could do for him was make a sandwich. Okay, so she got rid of that ass quickly. That is not going to work for her because, in her words, a man is not a plan. A man is a companion. So I'm sure by him making stupid ass comments like that or saying things something like that, that it was over. However, it did not keep them for doing their professional duties, which is to prosecute this RICO case. Um, so they're no longer seeing each other. Now, she said she'd known Yerty since 1990, that they had been college friends. She was going to Howard University, and Yerty was going to Morgan University, I don't know, it was Morgan State, Morgan University, and that they would hook up in DC. They were college pals. They would tee, they would go out, but she hadn't seen her since 1990, really, that they hadn't kept in close touch like that. And I would think that after um, she had to ask her to leave her or resign from her position in the DA's office, that didn't help at all. So yeah, yeah. So they kept focusing on and asking about the money. So they went to the trips that they took that were, these extravagant trips which were nothing extravagant. Okay. Fani said that yet she talked about the trips that they had gone on, and she said, and she wanted to make it perfectly clear that Wade didn't give her anything, that she paid her portion of the trips, and that she paid him in cash. Now I don't know about you, and her father even mentioned that it was a black thing, but he always taught his children, and I know when I was growing up that we were told that you should have at least 6 months of cash in the home. And I know my parents had a safe and some lock boxes that had cash in them, and that if, especially as a woman, if you should never leave the house without some cash on you. So she paid her portion, and she paid it in cash because she wasn't that kind of sister. She holds down her own. And this chick kept asking her, well, where the money come from? Bitch, are you working? Do you work? She said it came from my blood and sweat. I work. Oh, and you get paid by Fulton County? Yeah, well, who do you get paid by? Who's paying you? Yes, I'm the DA of Fulton County. I do get paid uh, by Fulton County, and I think she gets paid from some state work that she's done, because before she became DA, she was working at another law firm. She had been an administrative judge. She had been earning money prior to that. So I don't know. And her father said, this is a black thing. This is what we teach. This is what we do. Now, we don't be having no $500 million worth of, and no gold bars like Menendez does, but we do have cash on hand, because you just never know when you're going to need it. So she wanted to be clear for the record that homeboy didn't give her anything, that she paid her share of whatever trip they took. And then this woman had the nerve. She kept asking her where the money came from. Like, are you hard of hearing? And where did you get it? Because they want to try to say that she's benefiting somehow or misusing county money. No, she is not. She is working as a DA of duly elected DA of Fulton County. That is her money, and I do believe Miss Fani leaned in and asked, "You gonna tell me how to spend my money?" No. And I got heated pretty close to the beginning, because Fani came in with the motions that they had filed, and she called them out as lies. I mean, and she leaned in, and she came in to break down the lies that they had told and the picture that they were trying to paint about her and her relationship with Wade. And it got a bit heated with the judge, even with the judge, and he said, we're going to take 5 minutes. So they broke for 5 minutes, and Fani came back. Now, they weren't liking the way she was answering the question, because she was answering and then explaining, and Miss Karen did not like that. Miss Karen Merchant did not like that. And she also had to make it clear that, this is a hearing. I am not on trial. Your clients are the ones that are on trial for trying to steal an election. And so no matter how hard you try to paint this as a trial, I am not on trial here. And I also read that when she was searching for people to come on the team to try this RICO case, that she had a very difficult time doing so, because nobody wanted to jump on the bandwagon that would expose them to criminal defendant, adjudicated rapist, Fulton County inmate P01135809's bullshit. Because he has gone after the judges, clerks, witnesses. He's gone after anybody that dares stand up against him. Because, he's perfect. He's done nothing wrong. He's run a perfect business, perfect president. Everything about him is perfect. That is a sure sign of an insecure human being who knows ain't shit perfect about them. Your hair ain't perfect. You need to go get you a weave or something, son, because them 3 strands of hair that you're trying to save, we can see where your hair is running away. Yeah, they got wigs for that. You can get you a weave. Go to your good beauty shop. Get a sister to put a lace front on your hair. So she said she always paid him his money back, and they were going through the financials of the contracts, etc., etc., etc. And what I noticed about these judges, about these defense attorneys, these prosecutors, is that they were all asking the same questions over and over and over and over and over again, wanting to know how many times they went out to eat, where they ate. Did you pay for anything? They even had his divorce attorney on the second day, and wanted to know if Wade had spoken to him about his relationship with Willis. And he said, no, we didn't talk about that. That's not what we were doing there. That's what we don't do. They didn't understand that some people just want to keep their business private. We don't all have the need to go out and scream about what is going on in our personal lives, because it's our personal lives. We have a right to a personal life, and I don't need you to know about you digging into my personal business. She even helped Karen Merchant by letting her know, your office didn't want us to secure these documents. She said, no, you were getting into I didn't want you to get the documents. You were getting into my personal life. So she's, there's some people who trying to roast her because they began to talk about the contracts and what was being paid. And according even to Michael Popak at Midas Touch, what Wade is being paid is far less than someone else would have gotten paid if they were doing the same kind of work. That she was actually not stingy, but very economical in the way that she drafted up the budgets and who was going to get paid what. They began to get they began to get very, very frustrated with her. You could see Merchant was, she was quaking in her boots because she didn't know what to do, because the judge on several occasions told her to move on to the next question, because I think he was getting to the point where he was sick of her trying to even ask a question. Now, see, it's real bad when you're questioning an excellent, well-educated, successful attorney questions, and they have to tell you how to phrase a clarifying question. And when the judge didn't see any relevance in what she was asking, he told her that it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Let's move on. I think Merchant and Haba probably both end up on some right-wing network whining about how unfairly they've been treated. They'll never say, y'all are piss poor ass attorneys. Let's go. Speaking of Haba, we'll just back up a little bit before I continue on with Fani. This woman is such a great attorney that now Zaddy's got to pay $355 million to the state of New York, plus interest and penalties. So that number is going to blossom and bloom. This chick, this chick is getting him close to having to pay $500 million in penalties and shit. And she's still out there screaming and hollering about how we gonna fight, 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 fight. Bitch, it don't matter. It don't matter. Fight on. Fight on. Because see, as long as you can get out there and talk that shit, you getting paid. Because I noticed your hair's looking better, girl. You wearing designer clothes and shit. You looking better. So yes, you damn straight you want to stay on that team because you're getting paid. Now we'll go back to Fani and then we'll bounce back to who's got to pay that $355 million. Okay. Okay. Um, I loved what she did. And now she's getting roasted because she spoke up, that she wasn't humble, that she challenged them and the judge. Because when she was in the DA's office, he also worked in the DA's office. He was not, she had seniority, I do believe. She wasn't yet the DA. She had Judge McAfee worked in the DA's office. So he knows Fani, he knows her work, and he knows her integrity and her credibility. Now, when it first came out, there was a whole lot of YouTubers talking about she was done and how could you, and you fucked up your bag, and girl, you messed up, blah, blah, blah. You're done. You're finished. You're this. You're Not at all. Because if you saw her motions, you would see just how good of an attorney she is. And she got that in her father. Just like Jack Smith has tried cases at The Hague. He's tried international cases. He's worked in the movement because he mentioned SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, probably when Stokely Carmichael was the head of it, that he had tried cases all over the world. In South Africa. And again, I say The Hague. So she grew up in a family with the law. It's in her DNA. She wanted to do what her father was doing, and she's doing it. And she's had extreme success in her RICO cases. I happen to know of one because I was working at the law firm until I left, or they asked me to leave, and I was glad to do so. First time in my life I'd ever been asked to leave a gig, but I knew there was some gangster shit going on in that doggone law firm. And the managing partner, or the main partner, was charged in a RICO case, and she won. And he took his family on vacation and walked off a balcony and plunged to his death rather than go to prison. There's some people thinking that she should have been more humble. Why she got to go? And I've heard it from a black man whom I have no respect for, because he's got a big ass mouth and he thinks he's smarter than anybody else in the room. And you probably Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's an asshole. And he wants to talk about bringing some receipts and about how look, let me tell you something. Black women are sick and tired of being silenced. We will not be silent anymore. We are going to speak, and we are going to speak loudly. And that woman had a right to go in and defend herself, because you have lied on me. You have lied. You have made this into some sort of salacious, passionate, ongoing love affair, which it is not. And Wade's testimony pretty much corroborated that. And while he was probably more calm than she was, he's not a black girl. He's not a black woman. I would have done the same damn thing. I would have called them out. And at one point, she had to tell one of the attorneys, "Don't you yell at me. Don't yell at me. I'm not some peon. I'm not beneath you. Don't you yell at me." And that's when they got more and more and more frustrated because they weren't getting the answers to the same fucking question they asked over and over and over and over and over again. They were really trying to say that somehow she benefited and was using county money. Well, it's after it gets dropped into her account, it's my money. And I can do with it as I please. She didn't go there to play. And the judge had to tell her, he had to caution her at one point. And he didn't want to strike her testimony. So he did caution her. But she leaned in. And I'm glad she did it. Because we know the only reason you're doing this is because you think I'm some little Mayberry attorney, some who is this county DA that dares to file a RICO case against the criminal defendant adjudicated rapist Fulton County inmate P01135809. How dare she? And he is calling her all kinds of nigga bitches. Her, Letitia James, he's probably gotten a name. He called her Peekaboo. We know that was code for jigaboo, which is a nasty term that has been used to call out Black Americans have been called that. The racist Klan panties are showing. And I want all of you to go to her website and give her some thank yous and let you know that you are standing with her. And that we thank her for the work that she's doing. And we wish her much success. That we are Team Fani. And that no matter what these desperate MAGA criminals do. Oh yeah, boys, she played the race card. Look, white folks dealt the card when they began othering people. So if you're going to call it a card, you're damn straight I'm going to play it till the paint comes off of them. You're damn right. And you notice that they asked the attorneys if they had anything further for her. They didn't call her back the second day. And then her daddy came in and defended his child. And when he ran off his credentials, I know they had to know they weren't. And then one of the attorneys said, try to get him to answer why he didn't know who his daughter was dating. He said, shit, I don't tell her when I had that when I was there, I didn't tell her anything about my private life. I don't expect her to tell me about her private life unless she wants to. And no, he didn't come to the South Fulton house ever. And he may have come, they may have gone to lunch. I think he might have visited the condo a few times, but he never spent the night. They may have gone to dinner, but they wanted to know who paid for those dinners, who did this, who did. I mean, it was just such a shit show. And I was so disappointed in Judge McAfee. Because now they got to come back a third time. But I do have to say that the attorneys that were defending Willis were excellent. They did a great job. And at one point, a question was asked, and her attorneys was going to object, and she said, "No, I'll answer the question." She is fierce and she is fearless. And she's fighting for her reputation, her integrity, and her legacy. And yeah, we gonna talk. She get loud, get loud. She has a right to defend herself in this bullshit. And according to the Midas Touch newsletter, it seems that criminal defendant adjudicated rapist Fulton County inmate number P01135809 has been in touch with Governor Kemp, who is to testify in this case. Now, that could be construed as tampering with a witness. He wants Kemp and the Georgia House and Senate to get rid of Fani Willis and to get rid of the case, make it go away. That is how afraid he is. That is how afraid he is. It shows his weakness. Woo, the wind got in this. That is how afraid he is of going to prison. You gonna go. And after Alvin Bragdon get through with your ass, you might have some other criminal counts, because he wanted to try to go and have Judge Marchand postpone his hearing day. He said, no, it's going forward. Trial is going forward. I think it's on sometime in March. But I want to end on Fani by saying that DDM, as Secretary of Shade, made a very beautiful comment. He because a lot of the YouTubers who were thinking she was done now have a brand new respect for her. And he said that Black women are our armor, our defense, our wisdom, our grace, and the biggest asset to Black people. And that Black women must be protected at all times. He says they are grace. We are grace under fire, and the shield and the sword for our community. He also mentioned that Lynch in his letter was saying that his way of controlling the slaves would keep people enslaved for 300 to 400 years, where that cycle is over, because we see the benefits of education. We see, and educated, brilliant Black men and women in positions of power. To all my brothers and sisters, get out and vote. We still have a lot of work to do. But hey, that's what we've been doing since we came here. Fighting to be treated equally in these United States of America. Yeah, we're going to still have to fight. They also had Wade's divorce attorney on, trying to get him to asking him if he knew when that Wade and Fani had dated, and if they talked about that. It was just repetitive. It was actually quite boring, because you could tell that they were not up to the task. And after this $500 million expenditure that Homeboy has got to pay, he still owes some other attorneys money, I imagine. I don't know what he's paying Haba, but we'll see what happens when he loses in Bragg's case. But I am proud of my sister. I voted for her, and I would I will campaign and vote for her again. We need that kind of fire. She reminds me of Cori Bush, that puts in the House of Representatives, who pisses off a lot of them Klan cheering in the Congress, because she does not mince words, and she's so careful about wording it that her comments don't get they get put on the record. I take issue to her saying this and so. Shut up. We don't give a shit what you take issue. The truth hurts. Now, speaking of that money that daddy gonna have to pay, his sons have been very stressed out. Junior, who looks like a ghoul, he looks like he just got too many goddamn teeth in his head. He opens his mouth, looks like just, who did your dental work, son? Because you got too many teeth. He put out a racist picture calling Michelle Obama. He got this big black man linebacker and said he found Michelle Obama. That's not only misogynist, it's racist. But I believe he's over on his website selling products. What was that stuff that people, ivermectin and all that kind of shit? I think he went in and raided Alex Jones' cabinets and got some of them old ass poisonous vitamins and shit. They're trying to get money any way they can. They're going to have to. He and Eric are going to pay $4 million a piece. Wieselberger's going to have to pay, I think, $1 million. Some other gentleman, I think he worked in the Trump organization. He also is going to have to pay some millions. And so, I don't know what, Eric said that his father built the New York skyline. New York existed before y'all's asses got there. Okay? New York always had a skyline. A few buildings that he built may have added to it, but they certainly didn't make it. And New York is not going to go to pieces because you're not there. As a matter of fact, somebody need to tell the man, I'm going to keep calm. I'm not going to say his name. They need to keep telling him that the United States is not going to crumble because he's not in it. We would actually do better if his ass wasn't on the soil. Oh, and I had that Tia was going to come on. She texted me. She's not feeling well, so let's keep Tia from Rasslin Reads in our thoughts. I was hoping she could come on and we could do some fun reads. I may throw a read up in here. But yeah, I'm just hot. I'm just angry that these folks are not only abusing the judicial system, but that Judge McAfee would allow this shit show to go on in his courtroom. So let's read some of your comments. Christine says, yeah, we need to stop accepting shit. I personally see so much strength. Yep, shit, being a black woman is a vibe, okay? And I'm proud to be one. Margaret says, my father's oldest sister, born about 1900, explained when I commented about her old black handbag. She said it belonged to her mother who kept the family. That's right. And a pistol. Yeah, we had guns. Absolutely. They didn't trust banks. And even though they may have had bank accounts, there was always cash in the house. So it was commonplace for us. It doesn't matter if you blow up the chat. Oh yeah. So daddy now like my pillow, like Lindale, who's selling bedding, shoes, whatever he can sell to get some money. He was up at SneakerCon trying to sell some gold slippers for $400 a pair. He must have gotten advice from Kanye. And he got booed and talked about, oh, there's a lot of emotion here. Yet they hate you. Hey, Jan. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Selma. Black women have, to all my sisters in this chat, we have always had to be strong. Black women protected their men back in the day to keep the master from beating them. They gave themselves up. We have always been strong. And I don't see it stopping. I don't see it changing. Let's read some more comments. Let's see. Let's go here. I'm surprised. Let's see. Black. I'm telling you, he's a traveling sneaker salesman, y'all. Let's see, Terry. Let's do with Christine. What are you saying? We're gonna. I think that they're both. They are they're not good attorneys. And you're right. Anybody that knows Fani, they do not want to go up against her because she is all about doing her gig and doing it well. And again, Terry Haba did say she'd rather be pretty than smart because you can always make up being smart or some dumb stuff like that. Well, she don't have to make it up. She's proving she's not smart, that she doesn't know how to handle herself. What? Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I will hustle on down and get me a ring light. I sure will. Because this gets on my nerves too. But again, it's a place where I can get some privacy, and I mean, it's just the best I can do right now. Thank you. I do appreciate it so much. Electra, I thank you for coming on. She said she had to get out because she has to go to work. She works early in the morning. We all keep cash. She said, and she also said she wished she had 6 months of cash because she's broke all the time. Well, girl, we're not going to curse our money now. We're going to say we might be a little bit financially embarrassed, but we're not going to we're not going to curse the money. We'll be thankful for what is. I am going to move on to, hey, Clarence. See who else came in. I usually hear from Jaconda. She's always got comments to make, and I haven't heard from her. Maybe she jumped off. But I thank her if she has gone off. I thank her for coming on. Now, let's talk about some stupid news. Okay? Rachel Dolezal, our white black sister, the woman who calls herself transracial. Well, mother has just lost her teaching job because they found out she had an OnlyFans page. Now, I don't know what she was thinking. I would think that, because she looks good now, I got to say, her body is tight. But she lost her job because they found out she had an OnlyFans page. I would imagine OnlyFans pays more than teaching, and you just needed something to do. But you've been wanting to identify as black, so baby, you have now had the black experience. You have now found out that what it is to be black in these Americas, to be an African Americans in this country. I also did not mention the shooting at Joel Osteen's church. Again, we are going to have to press and press and press and press and get these legislators to pass reasonable gun laws. And I do believe that some of the reason they don't want that to happen is because they not only get out of money, but I don't know, are they building up an army? I don't know, but anyway, you worry about going to the grocery store, you can't go to church. Everywhere you go, you have to be mindful of what's going on. So I encourage you to tell your angels, call them to protect you. Call them to protect you. In the 91st Psalms, it says that the Creator will set his angels round about us, lest you dash your foot against a stone. So you get up and you call your angels to protect you and your loved ones. All right, more stupid news. A Connecticut priest was selling meth to people so he could watch them have sex. Nice. 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 I can't. And that leads me into a segue. Oh, there's some other stuff. Women in Memphis, Tennessee are allowing an 8-year-old girl, I think she was, to wax their coochies. Hey, Rhonda. Somebody needs to call the cops on her mother and every chick that laid down and let this child wax their vaginas. I know there's an investigation going on, but they need to get every last one of them that got their big asses up on the table, spread their legs, and allow an 8-year-old child to wax their vaginas. What kind of shit is that? Yeah. And they obviously didn't see anything wrong with it because they kept going. What kind of shit is that? The world has gone completely angry and crazy. I can't understand the thinking of some of these crazy ass people. So, back to church news. There's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Larry Reed who has been trending on the internets and the interwebs. Now, for those of you who don't know, I didn't know anything about Larry Reed because I don't follow church news like that. I just wasn't that interested. But apparently, he is trending on the news, on the internet, because there are men coming out saying, one man in particular saying that he had an affair with Larry Reed. Now, Larry does have, there have been questions about his sexuality. Anyway, I don't know why it's anybody's goddamn business. If Rhonda, if I knew where she lived, I'd tell you where to go. But I just know she in Memphis. I don't know why it's anybody's business about who's sleeping with whom. But apparently, this gentleman has come out and he's saying that he had an affair with him for a number of years. Now, I first heard about Larry Reed about 5 or 6 years ago, when I was I'm a subscriber and a regular watcher of Conscious TV. I like his thinking. And then when he first started his channel, he was speaking about spiritual things. So he had Larry Reed and this very interesting gentleman named Truth Seeker who was a preacher and a hip hop artist. Uh, he had them on. They were talking about interpreting the scriptures. Well, it seems that there was another YouTube uploader who got angry with Larry and wanted to accuse him of having abused underage boys. That's a very serious claim. Long story short, Conscious, who considers Larry his mentor, excuse me, uh, went all the way up for Larry. I mean, Larry ended up suing this particular YouTuber and winning a case and having this man fined for ever mentioning his name in that context again. He had apparently or allegedly had some men that said that Larry had abused them some when they were young, and it was a whole mess. Anyway, Larry sued the guy. He won the case, and so now the man cannot mention his name. But now he's back at it because of these new allegations. And there's a gentleman whose video I watched today who said that he worked in the church with Larry and that he had gone on, he had been in an affair with Larry for years. I mean, I thought he has, I think his church is called Reformation Church or something like that. And he has a channel called Larry Read Live. And he said he helped him set that up. He helped him with the reality show that they were doing, that he was actually very instrumental in Larry's ministry. Now, there was another young man who claimed to have been molested by Larry some time ago. I don't want to call out names because I just don't want to do that. However, Larry could prove, again with Conscious help, they were able to prove that this guy was lying because the timelines didn't match up. So now it's out there again. And Larry's specialty was on his shows. When I would watch them, he would be calling out other pastors and other people in the ministry who had been accused of doing some dirty shit. He would call them out and insist that they do the right thing. You know, that there was one case where he called out a big pastor who his church was used to film the series Greenleaf. I don't know if any of you watched it. I did. But that he had a child out of wedlock. Well, he had a mistress. He's a married man. And that the woman had fallen pregnant and that she was upset that he wasn't acknowledging the child. And so Larry went in on him. And I mean, that's what he was doing. I guess you might call him, I don't know if you call him a Christian gossip guy or what. I don't know. But now, this person recently that I watched came and talked about it, and he had a video of Larry taking someone to a room. You could hear his voice, hear Larry's voice. You didn't see him, but you could see the young man. And the man who put up that video and who's now claimed he says he's doing this because he's healing himself and purging his heart and getting right. Now, I don't know anything. I know Larry was married. He had some daughters, and he's very open. He's been very open about what happened to him when he was a kid. Very open about that. It's like he tells his own truth. You know, the internet has become a cesspool. It's a garbage can. People, such as Monique and her son, something that they should be able to discuss privately, in order for them to come together and to heal, is all over the internet. People just dump shit on the internet. Some people might call that's what I'm doing too. But it has become a cesspool. So there are folks who will put up stuff for clicks and views. And now that we started with P. Diddy, or as Rasslin or Tia would call him, I call him Diddy Steen. She called him Puffy Steen because it was Harvey Weinstein and it's Bill Cosby, and then it's all these other men that are being called out for being the quote powerful men, for being abusers of young women, young men. I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess. So I do have the cards here. Kind of want to know if Larry's going to be all right. I kind of like him, he's amusing. But I'm wondering how he's going to handle now all of the dirt that's been poured about him on the internet. Because again, there are people questioning his sexuality because he is open about what happened to him as a child or as a young man. He's open. He doesn't draw any lines. He accepts everyone into his church. He's LGBTQIA friendly. He doesn't, and he's very wealthy. Apparently, he's got properties in LA, South Carolina, Atlanta, Florida. So it sounds to me like he's a very astute businessman. He's got some business acumen. And so I'm wondering, first of all, the question has been why now? Why this gentleman who has known him for years and knew all of this was going on didn't come out sooner with it. I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't do it. I think he might have answered the question. I don't care. And also there was a wretched cat named Bishop Lamore Whitehead. I don't know if you remember last year, the year before, his church got robbed by two gunmen during a live stream of his service. And so he's dressed he's always dressed up. I don't think none of that Gucci and Louis Vuitton, and none of that stuff he wears is real. I think it's probably knockoffs, but he's always in designer clothes and he's driving, a Rolls and all that kind of shit. He's gangster. He's a gangster bishop. He also got angry with Larry, and I think it was last year, or maybe the year before, that he also started talking about this, and that he had actually paid one of the accusers some money to pour dirt on him. Tasha K did the same thing. She actually interviewed one of the ones who had accused him of that. So now all of this is blown up. It's blown up because it's one man who was part of the church, who's known Larry for years, and who says that he was having an affair for him. So I'm just going to ask. I'm going to ask, first of all, why now? Is this man coming? Does he want money? Does he want to establish himself and become as successful as Larry has become in his ministry? Why now? I don't have any place. I got to find a way I can shuffle these cards. Not that I'm a great shuffler anyway. But why now? Why now? Because it makes I'm just giving people a side eye, okay? Because if you knew all of this, why didn't you speak up then? And I guess this is now where they're saying that this is the time when people are being exposed. This is a year exposure, and on the bottom of the deck, actually, we do have the Hierophant. So we do have the church. Oh, let me hold up another way. Nails in the way. We have the Hierophant representing the church. So perhaps um, mm, this has to do with Larry's church. On the top of the deck, oh gosh, y'all bear with me. I'm having a hard time with this. There's not a lot of space. Okay, I'm just doing the best I can with what I got, so that I can come on more regularly. And pretty soon I will be all set up where I can in my own digs again, and I'll be able to do this better. Now, on the top of the deck, we have the Page of Wands. And in the little book that comes with it, because I left my notes, I've taken Johnny's class and I left my notes. It says this is the divinatory meanings. He's a dark young man, faithful, a lover, an envoy. So I wondered if this could be the young man who is now confessing that had an affair with Larry for many years. Three of Pentacles, meetings, secrets, people getting together. It feels to me that this was a planned situation. That this could be the other. This could be. I want to say I feel like these are the other YouTubers. These are the people who are talking with each other, who are coming together, and who are planning a strategy because they actually want to destroy Larry Reed. They want to destroy him because of his success. They want to destroy him because they have beef with him. This would represent to me those YouTubers who are out there spreading this stuff. It sounds to me like they're getting together and they're discussing how they're going to take this man down. But we have his son. And I'm going to interpret that is that Larry's going to be just fine. That he himself may have to file some more lawsuits because he's got one with one of the men who said that he had stolen some things. I mean, he had molested him. Now, I know he has said that he's had homes where he's taken in young boys, that actually some mothers who have children who are young men who are out of control, that they have been able to come and stay in his homes, that they have been able to that he's been their mentor, that he's been attempting to steer them in the right direction. So I guess I'm looking through the internet. Hey, Jaconda, you back? I am. This internet beefing shit has just gotten on my nerves. Everybody's business is out there. I shared a fair amount of mine. But I just don't understand why it's so important to some people for them to come out and destroy other people's lives. that where is the um, what happened to people getting together and talking to work out their situations? What happened to conversation? What happened to meeting with people um, and perhaps trying to work out your beefs instead of bringing it to the internet? It breaks my heart that, Monique, who only comes out to beef, quite frankly, I'm just over her beefing. I really am. I been on the road with her. She was funny. This just before she was going to do the Parkers. And I opened for her and some other comedians. I want to say Adele Givens, one named Coco. I don't know if some more was on that one, but she was a whole lot of fun. And then the next time I saw her was when she had her BET show on, and I was often pulled down during the pre-show to come down to the main stage and to dance with her host, the gentleman who would introduce her and everything. They would. I got a lot of FaceTime. The camera came on me a lot of times. So thank you, Mr. Cameraman. And I took her a binder with introducing her to the Venus Revolution. And because we were really popping in Atlanta at that time, and we were having art shows and gatherings and parties and round tables and all of that too. Because it was a social movement, and we decided that we were going to just challenge what had been called the European vision of beauty, that we were actually celebrating the lusciousness of full-figured Black women. We were doing profile shots and back shots so nobody could see their faces, because it was all about the beauty of the booty. It's called steatopagia, and it is an African thing. It's the excess adipose tissue on our buttocks, our hips, our thighs, and sometimes on our stomachs. That is what gives us that Coke bottle shape, that curvaceousness, and makes our dresses and skirts poke out in the back. Now, we call it Venus Revolution because our muse was Sarah Bartman, the Hottentot Venus, who was part of Piccadilly Circus and became kind of like a freak to people who didn't have an ass, but she gained popularity in Piccadilly Circus because of her ass. So we were the books, the portraits, all of it was beautiful. There was nothing salacious about any of the photographs or the paintings. But a man sees an ass, and their brains go off like they on crack or something. They'll find some reason to drool and act stupid over anything. So I took this information to Monique, and part of what we were doing, one of the things we would feature when we were doing our parties, is that there were different rooms with different things going on. And in one particular room, we had body painting. So the women would wear a top or not if they didn't want to, or bottom or not if it was up to the woman. Nobody was forced, and they would become beautifully painted. We had fabulous body art artists there. I mean, did some beautiful work. And I took this to her to show her and to ask her if she could, come on board with me. And because if you remember Monique, a lot of her comedy was about fat women, big girls, and I thought she would be a great partner. Well, she acted as if she wasn't interested until when she began doing her beauty pageants featuring full-figured women, and also nude women with body paint on them. I was so angry with her. And then the other thing that pissed me off is that you act like you don't know me. I know you know me. The last time I saw her was at the Human Rights Campaign, where I was performing, and she was there with Lee Daniels because she was there she had just gotten her award for Precious, and Lee Daniels was there. If you don't know anything about the HRC, it is a very powerful political um, pack and organization representing the LGBTQIA community. And she was shitty then too. So anyway, she and her son are beefing, and it breaks my heart because that makes me very sad to see any family being torn apart, any family, especially a mother and a child, or mother and her children. Why are we talking about this on social media? Why aren't you all meeting somewhere and discussing it among yourselves? I'm just tired of it. And Jayon, thank you so much, because we do not hear from Monique unless she's got beef. And please don't let Oprah's name come in it. Please don't let her name come in it. Because if she does, then she's going to go on and on and on and on and on. I've gotten over that condescending my baby's shit, and her husband is a creep. He's just creepy to me. I still think that, I don't know if she's been out telling any jokes. I heard that she, or it was on the internet again, that she was going out with Cat Williams. She was funny to me, but she ceased to be funny to me when she began to come on and beef with other Black artists and entertainers. Let it go. Why do we as Black people have to claw away at each other? Look, I don't have to agree with anyone, but I'm happy that any Black person who has worked like Fani, who have been devoted to their craft, devoted to their gigs, devoted to their professions, have gotten up to seemingly the top of their game, only to have their own people dog them out. And then we complain about Black people not being able to come together. Well, no, because I don't even think we're interested in that. We've ceased to be, in my opinion, we've ceased to be a community. We have neighborhoods. So I'm very grieved that this information about Dr. Reed is getting out like in such a way as this. I'm very grieved about it. Yeah, I think she does need help, but because I've never heard a grown woman say that their husband was raising them, that I don't know about all that there. That's weird, and he's weird to me, and I ain't taking it back. I will do my level best to not do that to my people. I think we are magnificent. We all claim that we come from kings and queens. We need to stop acting like paupers. We have billions of dollars per year in buying power alone. If we were to freeze any of that money or invest any of that in our neighborhoods and our children, especially young men who think that the only way they're going to get out of poverty is to be a rapper and talking about bitches and hoes and killing, or playing sports. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if that's your thing, but there's so many other things, so many other studies, so many other, if you're an artist, or you like architecture, or an engineer, or There's so many other ways that you can raise up, but our young men just seem to be frustrated. So and begin to turn their weapons on each other. Why do we do that? Why we if we took our money and actually invested in our own people, I mean, that would be love. I once heard an Asian man say that Black people get angry with Asians because they look out for their own people. He said that to him is love. And he said, we have no love for each other. We don't look out for each other. We have been here longer than any immigrants I know about. And I think we should be doing much, 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 much better. There is no reason for us not to. But it begins with us showing love for one another. And again, I don't have to agree with you all the time. I don't have to agree with you any of the time. But I am not going to get on that beefing train. I'm not going to tear down my own people because I love us, and even in all of, we're just loud. We come out like Fani, blazing in the way we dress, the way we walk, our hair, our various shades of us. I love being a Black woman, a Black person, an American. I've had the opportunity to travel other places, beautiful places. They're beautiful. But I can't wait to get back to USA terra firma, baby. I've said it many times before. So it's Saturday night. I know y'all got things you want to do. I've been running my mouth for an hour and a half. Y'all go visit Fani Willis's website. Show her some love. Let her know we're standing in solidarity with our dear sister. Keep her in your thoughts. I want her to remain strong. But she's got a father who's strong, and he is not going to allow that. Now, when I come on again, I will discuss the second day of the testimony, because I think Roland Martin has her father's full testimony on his page. There, 11 Alive was in Atlanta was doing a live stream of it. I was actually on Judge McAfee's page, and also I bounced between his page and the Midas Touch people because I wanted to hear what Karen Ignifilo and Michael Popak and Ben Mycelis would be saying about it. And while we're at it, we just had a Valentine's Day. I don't know why we feel like we have to make up a day and call it a love day. Love is every day. You should be treating your significant other special every day. Even if it's nothing but just a card or a note to say I love you, or a phone call to say I'm thinking of you. If you don't have that, then love on yourself. But more than anything, we as a people are going to have to learn to love each other. in all of our ugliness and all of our beauty. Somebody in one of my last lives said that, being black is a vibe. It is all of that. Our fashion, our music has influenced all around the world. There's something magical about us. And I'll be so happy when we realize it. So, y'all, enjoy the remainder of your evening. Tia says that she'll come on with me when she's feeling better. I can hardly wait because we were going to do some fun reads. And I guess I got a little bit too serious. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. It doesn't cost us a dime to be kind to anyone. That includes the walking dead, baby. The brain dead. The ones who want to live in darkness. So until next time, I'll be on next week. I'll probably come on Monday and discuss the second day of the hearing. If you get an opportunity, shout out to Secretary of Shade, Dapper Dan Midas. Go hear his take on what happened in the courtroom, because you will get a laugh. You will get a laugh. I love you all. I write down everybody's name, and I pray for each and every one of you. You can email me if you want a special prayer. I'm getting better about looking in my email. And I want to thank, Margaret, is that you? This is you want me to get a ring light? I thank you so much. So, thank you for spending time with me. I know you could be anywhere doing anything, but you came to spend some time with me, and I will never forget it. And I love you for it. God, vote, God damn it. Help somebody register to vote and convince them that they need to vote blue. Okay? Don't argue. Just help them understand it's in their best interest that they come on to the bright side. Okay? Love you. Mwah. Good night.